Empire.
Heel back to Hachimura. Konnichiwa.
First off, happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
It was more just shocking to hear from him and understanding that he gets the most assists from me and the most spoon-fed baskets ever.
You know, the culture is actually damn good.
To sit up there and to say you don't have a culture problem in the nation's capital, everything about the organization points to a culture issue.
One guy took a in another guy's shoe.
I'm a little pissed off about it, but I know how I am. I was kind of expecting it. It's disrespectful.
It was like Eric Killmonger going for total domination. What's up is mine.
We're not going to be fucking sunk this year. We're the Stanley Cup champions! Yeah!
This podcast is all over social media, so follow us on Twitter at BeltwayBroPod, Instagram at Beltway_sports_bros_podcast. Also the Facebook group, just search Beltway Sports Bros Podcast. And you can also find us at BeltwaySportsBros.com. There's a podcast player right on the front page. If someone you know doesn't want to or know how to download a podcast app or even knows what a podcast is, just tell them to go to the website and hit play. Simple as that. Thank you for joining us today. We are the Beltway Sports Bros. I'm Matt Vazana, and as always, my brother Noel. Real quick, later on, we're going to have another Top 5 Friday. But first, I wanted to talk about some interesting Washington football news. Noel and I have discussed this before already, so he's not going to be surprised. But, you know, it's just some interesting stuff that I found out from an inside source. And I will not be revealing my sources here, but just know that it's pretty legitimate. How you doing, though, by the way, before we get started?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm here. I was waiting for your big source story. That's what I was waiting for. I don't know all the nitty-gritty on it, so I'm here. I'm an audience member right now as well.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
We're not going to get too deep into it. We're going to kind of take a break from the Washington football team for at least today. We may talk about it in more detail in the next show or coming shows, but as of right now, we're just going to kind of tell you what I found out and then move on to other things. Sounds good, Noel?
Sounds good to me. Sounds like a plan.
All right. So Rivera, everybody knows Rivera and Snyder had their meeting earlier this week to discuss the quarterback and GM situation, and apparently they figured some stuff out. Anyway, I had a chat with a very reliable source, like I mentioned, and this isn't really news, this portion of it, because Kyle Smith's name isn't coming up at all when being considered for the GM spot with Washington, but right now, it kind of seems like, from what I understand, there's a bit of a rift between Smith and Rivera. If you noticed, lately, Rivera hasn't said anything publicly complimentary of Kyle like he did before the season started. He was all on board with them. And we also know that Kyle has made it very known that he wants to be considered as a GM, but no one is considering him. So Rivera's, honest to a fault typically in his press conferences, and if he really liked him, he'd make it abundantly clear that he did.
Sure.
So it's kind of sad, honestly. I'm a big Kyle Smith guy, and we've talked about him here and there. I think he's done some great jobs with the drafts. Amazing stuff, finding guys in the later rounds. It's not looking good for him. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's not going to still be on the team or in the front office.
Yeah,
but
just not the GM.
He has no shot at the GM.
Well, I mean, it's just strange because you would think even if there were issues, just on a business sense, to get it out of the way, just to interview him anyway. You know when they have openings for a job, you might not have a snowball's chance in hell, but internally they'll send out, hey, you have the opportunity to get this job, but they
have
end
to do
up
it to check a box.
Exactly, to check a box. I mean, just do it just to check the box and say, hey, Kyle, hey, we gave you a shot. We're going in a different direction in this position, just to get it off the table.
Yeah.
Regardless if you have a bad relationship with the dude or not, I just think that it's just what you do in a professional environment is you give your internal employees an opportunity for a position first.
Well, yeah, and I think Rivera's been through situations where he hasn't had a great relationship with GMs before, and I think he's doing whatever he can to avoid that. He doesn't need to hire some guy that he can already see he's going to have problems with.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
No, I'm saying on paper. He already knows. Yeah. I mean, he just sits there and nods his head across the table and says, yeah, thank you for, yep. Thank you. All right. Give your resume to Sue outside. And then as soon as he leaves the office, you call the guy you actually want.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. That they should have given him the illusion of it.
Well, keep in mind, again, we're not going to go too deep into this, but Kyle Smith's dad is known NFL-wide as a total asshole.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Marty Schottenheimer, he wanted to murder this guy in San Diego, so maybe the apple doesn't fall far from the tree there.
Maybe not.
So there's that, and we can get into that later at some point. But also something I found out.
Look at you, man. You're like,
I know.
Jeez.
I know. It's a big one about Taylor Heinicke. Not Tyler, which I said a couple times the last episode. I know his name is Taylor, I swear.
Our editor caught those.
Yeah. Apparently not, because they're still in there if you want to hear. But anyway, I don't want to be a downer to all the Taylor Heinicke fans out there, but it was described to me as a, quote, absolutely no chance that Heinicke will be considered the starter going into the season next year. We talked about this a little bit, quite a bit actually, in the last episode of what our thoughts were, and essentially Snyder and Rivera came to the conclusion, and I'm very concerned that Snyder came to any conclusion of any kind when it came to players, but that they have to find a veteran quarterback. They didn't roll out bringing Heinicke back at a very reasonable price, and also the possibility that he can even compete. It's based off of what veteran they get.
Right.
But even so, wouldn't count on it. There's no guarantees they'll even bring him back at this point.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, to say in absolution that he won't be the starter, I think that's a little bit bottom line. You never know what the future's going to bring. But as far as putting him in the shallow end, put your toe in, don't jump in on the Heinicke train just yet, and bring him back, see what happens, like I said before. And that makes sense. So hopefully they bring in a veteran, and then he can compete for the backup spot. It's legit. He should be happy with that. Shit, the guy was filling out a resume before he came on. What the hell does he want, blood?
And I think it just comes down to that they, like you were saying the other day, they just can't sit around and wait for this guy to see if he's the right person,
right.
Or they want to make sure that they've got this thing completely nailed down and know who their guy is going into the season.
Right.
And that's understandable. So, all right, well, there you go. There's my little...
Good job, Matt.
Thanks. It's my little Adam Schefter impersonation there. It's not like breaking news, but I think there's a lot of speculation out there about Taylor Heinicke. There's people that are all over his nuts and think that he should be the starter, no doubt, because of his one game in 9 minutes. And there's something to sober you up.
That's a little teaser moving forward with maybe our top 5.
Yeah,
flash in the pan-ish, maybe.
Maybe.
Hey, hopefully it is something real. But people clamor for shiny objects, and then they fall flat on their face.
Well, no, I don't think you realize this, but they already know what the top 5 is. It's in the title plus the summary, so I'm not sure.
Damn.
But a good effort.
Sorry,
but that's all right. So, some NBA news.
Let's do it.
We're deep in the NBA season here. Not deep, but 10 games plus, whatever. But what about that trade?
Holy
Harden
cow,
to the
man.
Nets?
Whew.
I was just thinking, like, poor Wall. Back on a rebuilding team again.
I don't necessarily know if they're rebuilding. They got Oladipo out of the deal. I think that the team's pretty decent. Wall's honestly playing well. And the funny thing about that trade, Matt, is that Houston were offered Kyrie in that trade, and Houston didn't want him. So obviously they feel
psychotic.
Well, and also because they already have a point guard in Wall, right? There was also rumors that Ben Simmons was in the trade to go to Houston, and they declined that. So there's either two things here. They are enamored with Wall because all three of these guys can't hold the ball and play point guard, or they're locked into what they have. They're trying to get Oladipo off the books, and they're going to figure it out later on.
I think that they know there's no chance they can trade Wall. Number one, they can't. They can't because they just traded for him.
Sure, of course.
And also, what are you going to put Ben Simmons at the 2?
No, but it's pretty impressive that what I'm saying is he stayed there. They could have said Ben Simmons and then figure things out later at that point, but they wanted to go the route and stick with Wall. I do feel a little bad for him that Harden wouldn't give it the opportunity. I would have liked to have seen that experiment, but this is the second experiment that we can't see with Wall. But I think what pressed this is it was a perfect storm. Harden won it out, and the Nets don't know what the hell's going on with that crazy person in Kyrie. I mean, they don't even know why he's gone. I looked everywhere. I spoke with my sources.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, Google.
That's a good source. It's a quality source.
And
maybe he fell off the side of the flat Earth.
That's what I was saying. I think he's so depressed right now because he actually found out the Earth isn't flat.
No, I'm saying maybe he walked off.
Because
oblivion.
he was busy doing a freaking interview on a podcast as a Nets game was starting. So we do know that he's alive. Can you believe this sack of shit? Right as they were about to tip a game off, he's on some bullshit podcast bullshitting around. This guy's nuts, man.
Well, the rumor is that he's so deeply hurt about the Capitol Hill situation that he just had to leave.
Yeah, whatever.
That's one of them anyway.
Rumor has it that's the first day, but they spoke with the GM today. They basically asked him, what's going on? He says, we're going to support Kyrie, see what's going on. When he comes back, he'll tell us. That was basically what he got. And Steve Nash said the same thing. They have no clue why this guy is gone. And then on top of that, he went to a club with his sister without a mask on, partying it up. So that might...
COVID isn't real.
So that might...
According to him, I'm sure.
According to him, shit. It definitely isn't real to him.
It's a government conspiracy.
Remember that movie with Roddy Piper in it?
Yes.
Not it.
No, They Live.
They Live. Yeah,
Yes.
Does he have those glasses and he sees everybody in a different way? He's the
only one that sees it.
He's the only one. He's the only one. Everybody he sees is aliens.
You know they're remaking that movie.
Are you freaking serious? They'll remake.
It's got a good premise.
They've made 800 types of premises of that movie since then.
But They Live was the first.
Oh, that movie was so funny. Remember, like, when they were doing the porn scene? And the guy puts the glasses on, and all of a sudden the guy's on the girl, and all of a sudden they show him as the alien. Oh, it's so stupid.
And little known fact about that movie, they had the longest fight scene in the history of movie making, and they did that on purpose.
Oh, him and Louis Gossett Jr.?
Yeah, it was like a 9-minute fight scene in the alley.
They were just going to battle all over. They're fighting each other all over town. I think they did like a parody of that on Family Guy when Peter was fighting the chicken. Yeah.
Yeah, they've had some battles.
Yeah, man.
Peter and the chicken.
That movie's so dumb, but I've seen it quite a few times. I hate to admit it. Guilty pleasure.
It is. All out of bubblegum. All right, so what are we going to talk about next?
We were talking about the Wiz. We're going to go into the Wiz now, I think, and other assorted things.
Yeah, we kind of went off path there, but all right, yeah, let's talk about the Wiz. And, the NBA in general, which is a total mess at the moment. So if it's all right with you, I wanted to kind of run down this list of what's been going on with the Wizards.
Sober us up, man. Do it.
All right. So I'm sure many of you have heard the Wizards game against the Jazz was postponed on Wednesday. And currently right now, the NBA has a total of 9 postponed games. Probably going to rise here shortly. By you listening to this, it could be 10 or 11 or 12 by then. Who knows? But as of right now, as of this recording, as they say, that's what it is. The Wiz played the 76ers on January 6th. And the next day, Seth Curry, not Steph, but Seth Curry tested positive, right? So fast forwarding to Sunday against the Heat, when Bradley Beal was the only player that wasn't allowed to play because he was in close contact with Jason Tatum from the Celtics, who tested positive the day after they played the Wiz.
Real quick, did that make any sense to you? Why? Because he's friends with them and gives him hugs?
Nobody else defended him the entire game.
Nobody else touched him. I mean, Beal sure as hell wasn't playing defense on him.
He was a solid 6 feet away, I would think. Right?
Yeah. I mean, he was doing his usual Matador defense on him. I don't know what the hell the problem was. Anyway, continue. That just made no sense to me why he was the only one that was quarantined.
That was the first thought that popped into my head.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, okay. I'm not sure if they know how this COVID thing works.
Yeah.
So anyway, Beal sat out that game on Sunday. Strangely, Beal was then allowed to play the next day on Monday against the Suns, after he was in contact with Tatum. All right. So now the Wizards have confirmed that Mo Wagner, Rui Hachimura, and now a third player, unnamed, has tested positive. Then it came out that more are in the coronavirus protocol and wouldn't have the minimum 8 players available, so that's why they had to postpone that game on Wednesday. So then we come to find out the Suns have now been decimated with positive cases and had to postpone their game as well, obviously after playing the Wizards. And now it looks like the Wiz are going to have to miss at least 4 games because of the outbreak. So we've got more to come here. And now something I wanted to mention in response to this, the NBA has changed their COVID protocol rules and are no longer allowing visitors to hotel rooms. Very smart on their part.
Good job. Well done.
Yeah, I didn't look at any of these protocols before because I was like, the NBA, they got it under wraps.
Are you?
They did the bubble.
Yeah, honestly, this is the first I'm hearing of that.
Apparently, they were allowed to have up to 2 guests before the change.
Unbelievable.
Also, a couple other changes. Well, really one. I'm not going to get into all of them, but there were some changes like seating changes on flights. Like before, they were allowed to sit next to each other and all that stuff, and now they have to actually be 6 feet apart.
You mean with the players?
With the players.
With that aspect of things, it doesn't really change anything. They're on top of each other anyway during games and all that. I don't really see that as...
None of that makes sense.
The visitor thing is baffling to me.
None of that makes sense because they also are forcing them to wear masks. And I was just like, I mean, even in the NFL, it's like, why are coaches wearing masks?
Yeah.
They're all getting tested.
Right.
Why are the refs... I mean, but now they're going to make them wear masks on the sidelines when they're off the game, but yet obviously taking masks off when they're playing.
Right.
All right, whatever,
It's so dumb.
So dumb, but...
Nobody has any clue how to handle this shit. I'm not saying we have the right answers, but I thought the NBA had their shit together, man.
Well, one thing they should have never allowed to happen is allow guests in the hotel room.
Course.
I think we can all agree with that.
Of course.
Here's another one. Before they were allowing players and coaches to leave non-team activities, now they have to stay in their hotel room. Basically, plane to hotel, no visitors. How that wasn't a part of the equation before makes zero sense.
Especially where we're at with COVID now. I mean, It's at all-time highs. People are dropping like flies on this thing. If they want to keep this business going, I mean, shit, Matt, in the first 5 weeks that the NBA was back, they had a total of 15 cases. Okay? A total. Now, give it, a lot of it was in training camp when you were with your own team. You weren't traveling. Mm-hmm. But the first 5 weeks, 15 cases. This last week, as of Tuesday, is when the stats came out. They had 16 in a week. That's 3% of the league. 3% positive cases. And now what they're saying is they've done a study. Some of the cases that are positive are players that have already had it once before.
Right.
This is a disaster.
It is.
And the thing is, it's not like the NFL where, yes, like the Browns, they got decimated. You lose 2, 3, 4, 5 guys, you're done. And it's very obvious. And if it's coming from the Wizards, I don't know. Who the hell knows at this point? But if it is, hey, at least they're winning at something, right?
Well, I was going to say, I mean, we gave the NBA so much credit for how they handled things in the bubble. I mean, they were squeaky clean. They were tight. What's his name left for the strip club. They didn't let him come back or made him sit in his hotel room
Sweet
for 10
Lou.
days. Yeah, Sweet Lou. And then it's just mayhem.
Well, they couldn't do the bubble again in this.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
I think that they had to do it this way to appease the NBA Players Association to even get them on the court.
Right.
We can handle our business. We got this. Treat us like adults.
Right.
Oh, okay. No problem. When you have your 2 hookers in, your hotel
your 2
room.
visitors.
Yeah,
You're having
right.
a threesome. That's it. That's what they intended it for, not for your wife and your kid. And like I said with the bubble, when they started talking about bringing in family members and things like that. Look, people go to Alaska for 9 months going on a crab boat and come back to their families. You guys are getting paid tens of millions of dollars to play a boys' game. Get your shit together, man.
It's amazing.
It's still baffling to me. It's ridiculous. And now this league is, like I said, because you have such a minimal amount of players, you cannot continue this course.
I know.
So I don't know. It's a shame because the Wizards had actually played their best game of the season against Phoenix.
They looked awesome.
They did.
Best game by far. They were playing defense, and I think Robin Lopez actually helped that because... Well, I'll get into the things that have happened since we haven't talked about the Wiz here in a moment. But yeah, things are looking up. And, hey, they get a little vacation, a little COVID vacay,
Might have saved Scott Brooks for another couple weeks.
But let's talk about that as well. But so if the Wiz ever play a game again after this COVID disaster, their season will end up at 3-8, sitting at 13th place in the East. And we just talked about they kicked the shit out of the Suns, who are a good team, without Russell Westbrook. Noel's favorite. For the record, I just wanted to say I oppose the trade completely, so I just wanted to make that clear. And they're also missing starting center Thomas Bryant, who tore his ACL against the Heat. Obviously, he's out for the year. He was playing well.
That's a shame, man.
It's a shame.
I really like the kid.
Can't play defense worth a shit. But,
no, I mean, but he just brings a spark offensively. He was starting to grab some boards. He's still young. He's still working at it, and it's not like he's the only lackluster performer on the defensive side. There's a whole issue going on there, but it's a real shame, man. I like the kid.
For the record, 2 of their 3 wins have been without Russell Westbrook, and it was reported that he may be out for 3 to 4 weeks due to a quad injury. So, as crazy it is, they're only 4.5 games back of the Celtics, who are actually leading these at 7-3. So it's still early, but we got a long way to go. So they've already lost twice to the Magic, who they apparently can never beat. The Bulls, they've lost twice, and as well as the 76ers who in front of them. So you talked about the Scott Brooks thing, and I personally think if this is all because of the Wizards, if they're able to trace this back, pulling this all together, all this is coaching. The shitty play, now the COVID thing. Brooks obviously doesn't have control of his players at all. So that's why they suck, and that's also why they're assholes and started this COVID mess for the league, if they are the ones, which it looks pretty likely. And Brooks is on the hot seat. In my opinion, hopefully this puts him over the edge so they can can his ass, because I'm done with him. I don't care how good they looked against the Suns. That's pure Brooks. When things start getting hot, you magically see them play defense, and then the next game, they get the shit kicked out of them. Or at the very least, get smoked on defense.
No, I totally agree. If they are ground zero for a lot of what's going on, that's the straw that broke the camel's back. Now, not only are you not putting a product on the court, now you're not able to control outside parameters from coming into your own team and the league. You're destroying a brand. Leonsis doesn't fuck around with that. Mm-mm. Okay? He's a loyal guy, but you start fucking with his pocketbook just like any owner, there's problems.
Right.
Now, with the Brooks situation, whether it's the direction with COVID, he can't handle this, there are big problems in the direction that this basketball team is going as far as offensively and defensively. Offensively, they are one-dimensional. It's a lot of standing around and watching Beal gun. And that's what it's become. We're not far from, recall, when John Wall, remember everybody eats? Mm-hmm. Well, this team doesn't eat. And the reason why they did well in the Phoenix game is because everybody ate. And the reason why they played well and were entertaining to watch in the Boston game, and no offense to Beal, is because he wasn't there. You saw Denny come out of his shell. He was handling the ball. You saw other guys get involved in games. And these guys are standing around with their dicks in their hand, watching Beal take on triple teams and watching Westbrook turn the ball over and swing the ball around. This team has become a disaster. Hell with the defensive end right now. We'll get to that disaster in a minute. Offensively, they have no direction. Bertans looks like a fish out of water and is just taking shots whenever they're available.
At least he's sort of hitting them now.
Yes.
Which is a positive.
That is. And why? Because, and I've talked to you about this before, Matt, and it's part of it's his own responsibility. If you're not hitting your three, you have to create someplace else.
He was trying that a little bit, and he can't do it.
What I'm saying is grab boards, get yourself involved in the game. But when you're not touching a ball, when you come into the game with 4 minutes left in the first quarter, and you're in for virtually the remainder of the half, and you've touched the ball a grand total of 4 times, and the 3 out of the 4 times, you've jacked up a 3 from the moon, how good and involved in the game do you think you're really going to be? And that's what it is. Everybody sit down and watch. It's a lot of standing around at three-point range. Avdia's down at the baseline just like Otto Porter used to be. They're all standing around watching Beal. At least before it was Wall and Beal alternating gunning.
Well, at the very least, Beal is pretty damn efficient. It's not like watching Kobe out there, going 20 for 50 or something like that. He's an efficient scorer. The thing is that last game, I mean, if it's any indication with the Suns game, I think if Bertans was hitting the shots that he was, like he did in that game earlier in the season, they would have won more games. I mean, there were some games that he went like 0 for 8 and shit, and that was a huge reason they lost those games. Taking the defensive side out of it, of course. I mean, that's the number one reason why they continue losing games. But it seems like at least he's getting his feet under him a little bit. And they make very few good points on the Wizards broadcast. But Drew Gooden was saying that Bertans, was going in free agency. And when you go into free agency, you don't play pickup games. You don't even work out because of the possibility you could get hurt.
Sure.
So
he was over at Latvia with his family eating,
schnitzel or whatever the hell they what do they eat in Latvia?
Latkes or whatever the hell they're eating over there.
Yeah, so it really explains why he was so off. And I'm not saying that's the only reason, but you can always depend on Bertans to at least hit 4 threes or something. I mean, you mentioned the offense. Did you hear that this idiot Brooks, after 5 years of coaching this team, he said that basically the offense was too free-flowing, is what he said. And that now he's making it more structured, and that's what you saw in the Suns game.
Right.
5 fucking years of this shit. Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. And I will say that it's a lot easier to say when guys are hitting shots that your offense looks better. And everybody seemed to be hitting shots in that game. That's an aberration a lot of time. And truthfully, they are the second highest leading scoring team in the league. It's not like they don't hit shots, but at the same time, everybody was involved, and it seemed like it carried over to the defensive end as well. They got involved with it.
Look, obviously the team even more so when Beal's playing well, because obviously he's been playing well and they still lose, even when he scores 60. Bertans is one of those guys that if he's playing well, it opens a lot of avenues for this team. There's no denying that. But this team has some other weapons. This team has, when Beal goes to the bench a lot, you've noticed, even the games that they've lost, that's when they come back in games.
Right.
They've been down by over 20 points multiple times. He's sitting on the bench for 8 minutes, and they're down by 5 by the time he comes back in the game. This isn't a coincidence here. This reminds me of when Wall got injured initially, when Beal had the team to himself, and Gortat was there, everybody eats. Ish is distributing the ball better than Westbrook is. Neto is playing well for spurts of time. These guys are distributing the ball, and they play much more team ball. They were swinging the ball. Everybody's touching it. Beal is still going to get his. But my point is, would this team be better if Beal averaged 25 points a game, distributed the ball to other people, got other people involved in the action, Rui touching the ball in the post more, so on and so forth, than him scoring 40 and everybody else standing around waiting for theirs? They would be.
Oh, no, they would.
And that's on the coach.
He's averaging 35, even if you bring that down to like 28.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Suns game was a perfect example of that. I think he still scored like 37 or whatever, but he wasn't forcing anything in that game. And I felt like he was getting more guys involved. He was looking for Bertans, at the very least looking for Bertans, and Neto as well. I think he feels very comfortable with him.
Absolutely.
So he looks for him at three-point range a lot. But even when Beal scored 60, I feel like he wasn't really forcing it. He only missed like 8 shots in that game or something, and that was all in the fourth quarter because he was just dead.
The point is, though, Matt, is that...
I agree. I know what you're saying.
These guys are standing out there, and then they're expected to do stuff that... And it translates to the defensive side as well. If you're not involved and you don't feel engaged, another thing that Drew Gooden said, which was a good point, you haven't played extended minutes. One of the most difficult things that he had to do when he was coming off the bench and playing minimal minutes was coming in and expected to be engaged right off the bat. Now, if you're out there and you're watching Beal take 10 straight shots down the court, regardless if he's making them or not, you're not feeling fully engaged in the action. You're feeling more of a spectator. And I know that's the case with Denny as a rookie. Because when he dribbles the ball from the top and he drives to the basket and he's dishing the ball, you can see his face light up. Yeah. But when he's standing at the corner 3-point line, there are situations, Matt, I've seen him touch a ball a grand total of 2 times in a game.
Rui too.
I
forget he's in the game.
Me too, man. That's not acceptable.
No,
and that's
not.
On Brooks.
It is on Brooks.
And Westbrook. I'm not going to belabor my point with this. They play better without him. I don't care what numbers he's putting up. Ish and Neto have their limitations. Okay, they do. And they rear their ugly head. When they keep them in for too long, you start to see them fuck up and have bad plays. But I feel that the team has an identity when they're on the floor. When Westbrook is out there, they look out of place. They don't look like a unit at all. And it's just, okay, here you go. I'll bring it up the court, pass half court. Here you go, Beal, do your thing. Mm-hmm. And that's basically what it is. But at least with them, there is the illusion of a point guard that's going to drive, that's going to do things, that can hit an outside shot. And I'm sorry to say that, but they have looked better without him. And the record shows that as well.
From what I understand, Russell Westbrook's been nursing this quad injury actually since training camp as well. So that might at least give some explanation of why he's been so slow. And he's probably been in pain.
See him jumping around on the sideline when he's on the bench, not playing a back-to-back, though.
Well, I know, but I'm saying from the very beginning they said he wasn't playing back-to-backs, and that has to be the explanation for it.
Well, I'm glad you weren't concerned about his injury. Wall's doing fine.
Well, he took 3 years off. I would be too,
No. Don't backtrack now.
Anyway. All right, well.
Hey, I'm a huge Wizards fan. Never will be, but something's got to give here. Beal's a great player. The team is going to go as far as Beal takes them, but he has weapons on this team. They have to play better defensively, obviously, but they can distribute the ball offensively. They can be even better, they're ranked number 2 in the league in scoring. They can be a better distribution team and even better offense than they are right now. And that will translate to the defensive side because these guys will play inspired basketball. I'm telling you, man.
I think we can all agree it's time for Brooks to go.
Absolutely, 100%. Maybe he'll get COVID.
If there's any time to do it, it's completely understandable to do it now. Shitty record, COVID.
Got a week off.
Got a week off. Just pull the Band-Aid off and get it done. It's over.
Get it done, dude.
All right, well, after this, we're going to move on to everybody's favorite portion of the show, Top 5 Friday.
Whoop,
so
whoop.
We'll see you on the other side. It's almost that time when you put your name in a grid and hope that your box hits the final score, but you don't have to wait until February to start winning. With Boxes, you can play box pools every day for every game. Boxes is completely free to play, and you can win big. Washington football fans who download the app from the App Store or go to boxes.com, that's BOXIZ.com, and use our code BROS20 to get free bonus boxes where you can win cash and prizes. We'll have new games every week and incredible prizes in the playoffs. And for the big game, that will include tickets to next year when fans can finally return in 2021. So go to boxes.com for more info or download the app now, BOXIZ. Use the code BROS20 when you sign up, and when you enter our contest, it's free for you and your friends to get in and win. Boxes, it's anyone's game.
You kind of like this guy, but when you can't decide between the Filet-O-Fish or the Big Mac, and he says,
I'll get you both.
Thank you. You definitely like this guy meal. Get it at McDonald's when you get 2 of your faves for just $5.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Single item at regular price.
All right, well, welcome back. Again, we were very professional here. We are continuing our theme of getting...
I had to take a pee break.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you're getting old, so it's... we're going to be continuing our theme of getting away from sports on this top 5, because honestly, there's only so many top 5s you can do with sports.
Yeah, what am I going to do? Top 5 COVID?
That's a good one. Write that one down. Yeah. Top 5 COVID strains.
Yeah.
In honor of Taylor, not Tyler Heinicke, and his magical game last week, we're going to go do a top 5 of ridiculous fads.
Yeah.
Let's try to put this together. Obviously, Taylor Heinicke could be a fad. We're hoping that he's not, but more than likely an undrafted quarterback that had a magical game. Who knows? In the history of the NFL, it usually doesn't work out so well.
Right. I mean, a fad like people clamor and wait hours outside of a place to get something that in a week is going to be forgotten about. We hope that doesn't happen with Heinicke. They're already making T-shirts for this guy. Fads are like an obsession that all of a sudden you're like, why the hell did I even want that? Or why did I even do that?
Well, I'll tell you what was a fad was his Twitter account.
I was wondering when this one was going to poke its ugly head out.
Yeah, look, he has his personal views. Look, just win. I don't give a shit. We have ours. He has his. Everybody has their own.
Hey, man,
but
I don't give a shit if he worships Satan. Okay?
Oh, no, he's a very God-fearing
I don't
man.
care if he has a pentagram tattooed on his forehead. Just go out there and win football games.
There's quite a contingent that does not want him ever playing in the NFL again.
I can compartmentalize.
Oh, absolutely. But anyway, if you don't know what we're talking about, look it up. So we'll move on. All right, well, let's start. What's your number 5, Noel?
Number 5, ridiculous fads. Well, I'm going to do an honorable mention first.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Let me do my honorable mention. So
let's make this as long as we possibly can, shall we? All right.
So my honorable mention is the Popeyes chicken sandwich. Remember this shit?
I can remember. It was like a year and a half ago. Not even.
I mean, my God. People were paying like $300 for a fucking chicken sandwich and waiting in lines. They were out of stock in minutes.
It's a good sandwich, Noel. It's a quality sandwich.
You've had one?
Absolutely. Well, I have a story on this, actually. It's funny you bring this up. Yeah.
I just had one, a couple months ago. For the first time.
It's a little heavy. It's heavy on the bread.
It was really, really good. Was it like beat the shit out of someone to get one?
Somebody got shot.
Yeah.
Someone got murdered in a Popeyes chicken
And now
line.
everybody's like, yeah, it's a chicken sandwich.
Yeah. So my story on that, it's funny you brought it up. It's not a part of my top 5, but so I used to go to Atlanta a lot before, the zombie apocalypse happened.
Right.
And I would get there at about 10:30-ish, and I see a Popeyes across the street from the hotel. And I don't know where the hell, there's no Popeyes around here really. So I was kind of intrigued, I guess, about the chicken sandwich. And I see there's a line of literally 15 cars. But I had nothing to do that night. I'm like, whatever. I'm going back into this hotel room by myself. Who gives a shit? So I get in the line. It takes me a solid half hour to get through it. And they're closing at 11, right? And I get up to the intercom or whatever.
Let me guess, chicken sandwich.
No, and he goes, no. He goes, can I have your order? I was like, yeah, I'll get a chicken sandwich. And he goes, how many? And I was like, one.
To eat or to sell?
He was surprised. I said, one. I said, I'll get some fries or whatever on the side, I don't go to Popeyes much. Fries were fine there.
What do you get? Yeah, you go up to, you're one of those guys like, what's good here?
What's good? And then so I get up to the window. So when the Popeyes chicken sandwich was out of control, they would just put them all in this big ass warmer that was easy access for them.
Yeah.
They didn't make them or anything. It was all, there was like 100 of them.
Oh, yeah.
And so the guy, they were closing up in like 2 minutes. And he goes, you only want one, right? And I was like, you don't want like 8? I swear to God, he said that. 8. I said, it's only me. I mean 8.
You could have sold them, man.
And no, I said, are you giving them me for free? He goes, nah. And I was like, no, I'll take
what
one.
What the fuck do I want 8 for?
I thought it was the end of the night, so he's just getting rid of them.
Either that or they throw them away.
I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, he was probably
I'll give them to a homeless guy or something.
Yeah, he was probably going to pocket the money. Cash only.
That was my Popeyes chicken sandwich experiment.
Oh my gosh.
It's a hell of a sandwich, though. I'll tell you, I was somewhat impressed.
Still a fad, though.
It was a fad. All right. So is that it? Is that your?
That is.
Okay.
That was my honorable mention. That's all I got for those.
All right. So let's start with number 5 then.
Number 5. Dun dun dun. Frosted Tips. I don't know when this and who decided that this was going to be a good look.
It's a boy band thing, Noel. You wouldn't understand.
It was something band. So anyway, this is the reason why I put this on my list, because it hits home. So this guy,
who?
Matthew, on the other mic, I come home. I think you were in, what, 9th, 10th grade?
I was going into 10th, yes.
Going into 10th. Oh, You're starting a new look for the new year.
New school year, yes.
Yeah. I was at college or wherever I was, I wasn't at that. I didn't live at home at that point. I came home and all of a sudden I see this kid with these blonde frosted tips. And I was like, what the hell is that?
Uh-huh.
What is that?
Well,
what boy band?
Well, NSYNC.
Backstreet Boys? What?
Just to let you guys know, I was not a boy band's fan whatsoever. You
just like the look of the boy band?
It just kind of spilled out to normal society.
Good God, man.
No, it wasn't a good look. All right. I'm well aware of that. And
the funny thing is, at Maryland, I had just eviscerated one of my friends for doing the same damn thing. And then I came to my own home and I saw you with the same damn look.
Well, I didn't do all my hair. I just did the front, which probably was even worse.
That's right.
And and so, all right, I'll tell you why that happened. All right, so it was in the summer, and I was at my friend Adam has this amazing beach house in the Outer Banks. So I was with his family. I was there for about a week, and his sister said, you should do some blonde tips.
Oh, my God.
And I think Adam already had it done or something. I'm pretty sure. Adam, I know you're listening right now, so you can clear this up for me. But so she had the bleach, did it just on the front.
Oh, so you didn't even have it professionally done. You just
No.
You just dipped your head in a bucket of bleach?
I didn't dip my head. She used a brush of some kind, and I don't know. The ladies liked it, Noel. That's all I have to say.
Did they?
Yeah.
Is it like when you're at spring break and the girls get the braids? You went and got the bleach. Good God. Well, I never let you live that down. I came in, I was like, what the hell is that crap?
And I actually went to homecoming with that stupid thing in my head.
Yeah. It's great. Every time I see a picture of you with...
It's a lot of pain behind my eyes.
It's amazing. It's awesome.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was...
All right.
We all experiment, Noel. That one failed, and I'm embarrassed.
But, again, you weren't the only one.
Oh, trust me.
You were in my house.
You done? Can I
move on?
Okay.
You can move on.
All right. Well, my number 5 are Power Rangers. If you weren't a Power Rangers fan back in the late 90s, I guess. No, it was before that. I guess mid-90s, right? Wasn't late. I wouldn't be watching that.
I was a little bit on the older side when these started to come out, but yeah, they were huge.
Huge. And, the original Power Rangers, not this bullshit that they have today, like...
Me hungry.
Oh, the pig? I'm hungry.
Yeah. When they used the footage from Japan, you knew it was so obvious. Yeah, it was so funny.
But later on, it got kind of professional, though, and it was getting really good. I remember watching this at the Ocean City Beach House. I can remember it like yesterday. You were even watching it, and you were much older, so here to embarrass you.
There was one TV. The hell I was supposed to do?
We had two. We had one in Mom and Pop's room, and we had one downstairs. But anyway, it was the Green Ranger saga. I mean, you want to talk about beast. When the Green Ranger became evil, and then he had to become Tommy, of course, had to become the White Ranger.
I don't know the names, but
I
know. No, I don't know the names, but I know who you speak of.
You know what was fucked up about that, though, is that the Red Ranger, he all of a sudden no longer
was relevant.
He was relevant, but he wasn't the leader anymore.
Yeah,
because
fuck you, man.
Tommy was a dick, and he comes in and becomes a White Ranger.
You're a bad guy. You come in. All of a sudden, he starts dictating what the hell's going on with our team.
And you're not even a dinosaur. I don't even know what he is. He's a dragon or something. You know, I mean, have a little respect.
Yeah, what the hell? But, yeah, man, they were freaking enormous.
They were huge.
Yeah.
The toys, shit, they were pogs.
And it was, I mean, look at it. It was bad.
Oh, it was horrible.
It was
absolutely
an awful show.
Incredibly racist as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Black Ranger and the Yellow Ranger happened to be a black guy and a Asian girl.
Yeah. I didn't actually think of it that way until you just said that.
Oh,
good job,
please.
Matt.
Yeah, right. That's why in the new movie they specifically made sure the black kid was blue.
Yeah. No, I know. They specifically said,
Not a bad movie, by the way, the newest one.
It wasn't bad.
It really wasn't. I was kind of pleasantly surprised. Have you ever seen that Dora the Explorer? It's that YouTube video. It was like a College Humor. Like, what would Dora the Explorer be if it was an action movie?
Oh, yeah, no, it had that girl from Modern Family. She was in it.
It was Beast.
Yeah.
It was Beast. So that's what it reminded me of. Like,
right.
If Power Rangers was serious.
A grungier version of Power Rangers.
It was good. All right, anyway. So Power Rangers is my number 5. All right, what's your number 4, Noel?
Crocs. It's the shoe that officially shows that you've given up on life.
Oh, yeah?
A little kid, fine. You know, like a little...
Andrew has them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Little kids, slip them on, get them the hell out of the house. Whatever, fine. They're comfortable for them, but a grown damn man, really? Really? And they're ugly. They're like clogs. Everything about them. It reminds me of what, like, Nonna, our grandmother, would have worn when she was, like, doing gardening. Like pulling basil out. They're just a hideous shoe. Why were they so popular?
I think the college kids probably wear those now in the shower so they don't get
okay, yeah, perfect. Like flip-flops. Like your shower flops.
Yeah.
What the hell
That's the only way I would wear those things.
Absolutely not. Like there's guys that...
The ones with socks.
With socks.
When you wear socks, that's the worst.
Oh my God, what is wrong with these people?
You're just completely embarrassing yourself.
And they're expensive.
Are they? I've never even looked.
Oh, back in the day, like I think it was 2005, 2006, I don't remember exactly the year, but around that time period, they had like kiosks with these things. What
about those little stupid things you put in the holes?
Oh my God, the little pins. And,
whatever they are.
What a scam. These ugly things. And another thing they remind me of. Remember that episode of The Simpsons when Homer intentionally gets fat?
I do.
Like to Beast episode. Intentionally gets fat so he can stay home and work. It's so awesome.
He wears the muumuu.
He wears the muumuu. Those are the shoes that he would be wearing with that muumuu.
Even Homer has more respect for himself than that.
But don't you envision that's the type of person that would be wearing a pair of Crocs? Why were they so popular?
Apparently they're insanely comfortable. I don't know. But I've never even put them on, so I'll never know.
I don't give a shit.
I just frost my tips.
I don't care if it's a damn cloud. I wouldn't be caught dead in those things. And for people to clamor and buy these things, I mean, they were flying off the shelves. It was insane. And now they're dead. And I think... when I was doing little research, they're making a little comeback.
Everything always does.
It's insane, man.
Everything does. But
yeah,
well,
what a horrible shoe.
That'll be on your Christmas list next year. Make sure to get that for
right.
All right. So my number 4 is frosted tips. I'm amazed that you actually put that on your list. I thought you would have totally forgotten about it, but apparently not.
Hell no, man.
Burned deep into your memory.
Oh my gosh, that was a dark day. I was like, not him. I know you like experimented a little bit more, but I would have rather you have come home with a boyfriend.
Oh, yeah? Well, that makes one of us. All right. So let's move on to number 3 then. What's your number 3, Noel?
The old fanny pack.
What's wrong with the fanny pack?
I mean, I know you're a big fan of them because wrestlers love them, but...
They put their drugs in them, yes.
Oh, so they're cool because they put their paraphernalia and drugs in it.
Yeah, they got to put their steroids and their painkillers.
Because there aren't other orifices that they can put them in, like a pocket.
It's just you just wouldn't understand. Well,
I wouldn't
it's
understand.
A different world.
But God, just dorks. And I know that like they've at times they became fashionable with like the leather one.
They're back, by the way.
They are back hardcore, and I don't understand why. Every time I ever saw a fanny pack, the guy looks like a complete fucking geek. I don't care if it's made by Coach. They look.
It's funny you bring that up. I went to the Michael Kors outlet, not the real one, of course. They had Michael Kors fanny packs.
Good God.
It's like, you've got to be kidding me.
Like Russell Westbrook wears them. He looks like and he dresses like a 12-year-old.
And the Suns game, I think he was trying to dress like a 1920s baseball player or something. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. I think that's what he was going for. The high socks, and they were like the puffy pants and everything.
The knickers.
Yeah.
Look like Payne Stewart.
If you're not good at basketball anymore, you're not allowed to dress like that.
Yeah. You have to be fucking awesome. Like Cam Newton, MVP year, you can do whatever the hell you want. Now that you're a loser, dude, you have to dress like the rest of us.
Yeah, no more top hats or anything for you.
But yeah, with the fanny pack, there's a funny story with that. I wore one once in my life, and you'll remember this. Mm-hmm. We were in Ocean City again because we had a beach house in Ocean City, so we spent a lot of time there.
94th Street.
Yeah. For those millennials, there was an arcade. Back in the day, they had arcades. And back in the day, the machines took quarters.
WrestleFest.
Yeah. Oh, man, what a game. So we had a ton of quarters, and I said, look, I have no pockets. I'm in a fucking bathing suit. I'm going to put this pouch on, or what at the time, I think that's what they called, not fanny packs. But
I think it's always been called a fanny pack.
Has it? Okay, yeah, fine, a fanny pack. So I put this thing on just to hold the quarters. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I said, to hell with it. Function before form. I go into this place and we meet some kid.
Well, and we had to ride our bikes there, too.
Yes, on top of that.
Yeah.
So we get to this place, and, I'm like 15 or whatever. This kid that we were getting along with comes over and whispers to me. He says, hey, just a word of advice. You got to take that thing off, man. And I looked around and I was like, yeah, okay. And so I took it off, never wore another fanny pack again. I never looked at them the same way again. And he was right. No offense to fanny pack wearers, but you're a geek.
That fanny pack was a beast. I remember specifically where we got it. We were at a flea market for some reason, and I'm not sure. We didn't really frequent flea markets very much, but I remember this one. And it was a black fanny pack with a red clock on the a red clock. The clock never worked. It was a little digital clock. I wore that quite a bit.
You were like 9 or 10 years old. It's somewhat okay, but you're a teenager about to get a damn car. I'm waltzing around with a damn fanny pack on. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Bad judgment call, Noel. Bad judgment call.
Good thing to carry quarters in, though.
Hey there. You're up for getting down with low prices, right? Well, Kroger goes lower than low on food that's fresher than fresh. So when you're crushing on clementines, seeking a savory salad, or choosy about your chicken, just open the Kroger app. You'll get more ways to save on the fresh you love with personalized coupons, weekly sales, and rewards like fuel points. All for prices that are even lower than the everyday low. So go where you know it's lower than low. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Let's move on to my number 3 here. My number 3 is grunge clothing.
You had some serious identity crisis.
I just wanted to be accepted by the masses, Noel, and a lot of that probably had to do with you. If we talked to a therapist about this, but anyway, I'm sure you guys
they can relate at this point. The amount that we've talked. God, imagine when we were kids. Shit, I'm PG now.
What about Scott? He's still.
I damaged him too. Good.
Still talks about it to this day. Oh, I don't talk to him, but if I did, I guarantee he'd blame you for a lot of his problems.
A lot of his issues.
But anyway, so if you remember Pacific Sunwear, or Pac Sun as the kids call it now, but Pacific Sunwear was everything back then. I mean, it was the Nirvana, Pearl Jam, who else? Alice in Chains, shit like that. And it was these hideous, massive flannels that were probably 3 sizes too big, and they were button down. So we used to wear them all the time in middle school.
Didn't matter, 100 degrees outside. I'm in it, man. What a dumb concept.
They were
Let
horrible.
me dress like a fucking homeless person.
And they were probably like $50 shirts. I don't know how much they were, but it was a horrible look. Great time for music, but their horrible clothing decisions spilled out to regular society, and I was one of them.
Good for you.
Did you see me wear those things before?
I think you went mainstream when I was around. You really didn't expose your weird quirks to me, except you had no
Weird,
choice with
because I got bleach tips and wore a flannel shirt.
You had the tips. You had no choice but to show me that. I mean, you couldn't put it. Were you going to put a cap on every time I saw you? So, but with the
never knew when you were going to pop
clothes,
up. So.
I was more. I never really changed my look all that much. I wore normal. What constitutes as normal. I didn't really go. outside
What is normal,
box.
Noel? What is normal? Why are you judging?
Jeans and a shirt, damn it, and shoes.
Oh, mostly out of my closet, of course.
Yeah.
So.
Hey. Well, you always got the better stuff, so I figured, hey, once you got my size, I'm like, hey, man, I'm good to go.
I got some stories on that, but
that grunge stuff. It was like, why are you dressing like a freaking sloppy homeless person? I never got it, and I'm glad that it was a fad that was only for a short frame of time. Thank you, Kurt Cobain, for blowing your brains out and getting rid of the whole era.
Yes. That's tough to agree with, but all right, let's move on to number 2. Noel, what's yours?
Starter jackets, son.
Oh, well, we are a sports show, so we need to throw that in there.
See, I told you, hey, I don't forget about my people. Starter jackets. The poofy starter everybody knows. I mean, come on. Early 90s.
NWA.
It was for a short period of time. I mean, they upgraded them here and there, but I had the OG. I had a Maryland starter jacket. The Maryland logo on the back, just red. I mean, it stuck out, man. But most people had like the Hornets one, like you said, NWA, Raiders shit, stuff like that. I went with the Maryland one. I had one. It went for a period of time, and they were gone. I mean, gone like that. Or some people would do like the zipper up on the bottom. Mm-hmm. So you had like the little opening on the bottom. But that was a serious fad. You had to have one. Had to.
Starter jackets were kind of making a comeback in, not the exact ones, but before my freshman year, I believe. Yeah. And, they had different variations of the starter jacket. The one with the half zip, with a big pocket in the middle. I had a Redskins one with that. Washington football team one with that. This is embarrassing. I can't believe it. You may not even know this.
Oh, man.
Yeah, this is in middle school, 8th grade, I think. And we were at Kohl's. So there's this Ravens jacket. And Mom, she did like some Jedi mind trick. I was like, yeah, the Redskins suck. You're right. I'm going to do the Ravens.
Wow.
I know.
What was it, on sale or something?
Probably. And it was the old logo before the bird head.
Had the bee and the shield and the wings coming off the side. Yeah.
Right. It was a puffy like knockoff.
I don't even know who the hell you are anymore. Blonde tips, grunge wear, Ravens jackets.
I'm embarrassed to say, look, I think I may have worn it one time. She just, for some reason, like said, oh, well, it has the Maryland flag. The Redskins don't have any of that. So it's like, yeah, maybe I should go this route. And I did. And I'm embarrassed to say it.
Wow.
It wasn't even a real starter jacket, but that was the closest thing that I ever had. Anyway.
Whoa. They were the shit, man. You had to have one. For whatever reason, thinking back, it's dumb as hell. It was a short frame of time. I mean, they did make little ups and downs and came back a little bit with different versions, but those original starter jackets, shit.
Flying off the shelves.
Flying, man.
We're at number 2. I'm going to do my number 2 now.
Go for it.
All right with you? All right. Well, mine is 90s pro wrestling. And I'm going to get a lot of shit from Noel on this, but it's true. Look, I've talked about wrestling before, and I'm not going to get through the whole history of why wrestling was as popular as it was in
Thank you.
The late
Appreciate
90s.
it.
I mean, there was 20 million people watching wrestling every Monday. It was for the first time. I was a wrestling fan prior to that, wrestling fan post that. And it was the only time in my lifetime that wrestling was accepted by the masses. And I could wear a wrestling shirt at school in high school and, Stone Cold shirts or DX or, The Rock, whatever. NWO, of course.
Did you wear it with your flannel grunge?
That was post-grunge.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's all right. Yeah, it was just... Yeah, wrestling's still around today, but it's back to, you watch wrestling?
No matter I give you shit about wrestling, it was enormous then. Everybody and their brother was watching it. It was...
Even my brother was watching.
Even I was watching it. Well, I mean, I did for a period of time. I just kind of, I don't know, grew out of it. But, but yeah, it was enormous then. The Nitro Raw, the ratings wars that they had, the whole thing, it was amazing to see. They were topping each other, I mean... TNA. I'm talking about like actual.
Yes.
Who could lower the bar more to get more ratings? It was awesome. I mean, who could be more of a scumbag? And didn't matter if kids were watching. Didn't have to be. Nobody was.
They were
PC.
flashing, like random girls were flashing in the stands because like Triple H and Shawn Michaels were telling them to do it.
There is the funniest what do they call them? A GIF?
Meme, whatever. GIF, yes.
Yeah.
The video one?
Yeah, the one where the kid, there's a woman, she lifts up her shirt. He's like in the first, she's in the second row. He turns around, he's like, damn! This like little kid, he's like 11 years old with this geek with glasses on. He turns around and he turns back to the camera. He's like, what?
Yeah.
It was so funny. But yeah, during that time, it was a great time. I mean, that was during like the scumbag when just like Jerry Springer time.
Yes.
When it was just
Howard Stern.
Howard Stern, you could put anything on. Kind of like this show.
Right. But it was fun to be a part of it. I remember just trying to get non-TV tickets just to go to like the MCI Center.
Yeah.
You'd have to wait there. It was like the Rolling Stones.
Right.
Everybody loved wrestling. They just did. And then it just kind of died off. And we're back to square one. As they do.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's unsustainable.
Good times. I'm glad you had that moment where you could come out of the basement.
The moment of acceptance.
Yeah, a moment of like, see? I told you guys all these years of fighting for it.
Yep.
Dork.
Well, I guess we're on to number one. So what's yours, Noel?
I think that everybody can agree that this is probably the biggest number one fad, could be of all time. Beanie Babies. I think people have killed for these. I can't say that there have been court cases on it, but I would venture to say that at the very least, someone got the shit kicked out of them for a Beanie Baby over the history of time. It's insane.
Can they say that they were murdered like a chicken sandwich? Is that
right.
That's the top of the mountain right there.
Yeah. But man, people were killing for these things. I remember, funny story, I worked at the Christmas store in Montgomery Mall.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I worked at the Christmas store in Montgomery Mall. And people they'd open the mall probably about 30 minutes before the stores would open.
The Beanie Baby store or the Christmas store?
No, the Christmas store was like one of those temporary stores.
Oh, you mean the main area would open 30 minutes?
The main area of Montgomery Mall would open up about 30 minutes prior to the stores internally would open. We'd still have the gates down. I'd show up to open a couple days a week. I'm telling you, man, there were like 40 people outside like we were giving away money.
It's like The Walking Dead.
I'm telling you, they were poking their head into the gates. And they'd say, we were told that there was a shipment coming in today of Beanie Babies. Like, dude,
oh,
man,
yes, the unicorn Beanie Babies.
I'm a college kid just working like a winter job just to get a couple bills. You think I give a shit about your fucking Beanie Babies? I didn't even know what the hell a Beanie Baby was when I first started to work there. And there's people showing up there, my kid's gonna kill me if I don't get like the Beanie Baby giraffe with the saddle on it. You know, like
the saddle?
I don't know. I'm just making one up.
Oh, you know your Beanie Babies. You were a Beanie Baby salesman.
Yo, absolutely. And you know what? And I started to learn Beanie Babies real quick. You know why? Because I knew what the valuables one were. And before the store opened, and sorry, the Christmas store CEO, wherever the fuck you are, but you didn't pay me shit, but I made my money on those Beanie Babies because I would take that box and I'd sift through and find like and find the ones that were like of value that everybody was asking for. Fuck the shitty ones, the ones that they couldn't sell,
like the cats or whatever.
Yeah, like the regular one. No, I get like the pink cat. You know, the one that everybody wanted.
How did you know which ones were valuable? Was there even like there
because
was no
people would
Google
call in specifically and ask for a particular one over and over and over again. So when we would,
how did they know? Like, where do you find this information?
I don't know. Who the hell knows where
the Beanie Baby?
I don't
catalog?
know. It's like baseball cards or whatever. You just like they had a book. I don't know what the hell they had. People would call in. They would tell me the ones. Do you have the pink cat with the polka dots on it? I was like, let me check.
Sold out.
Sorry, just sold the last one. I'm telling you, man, I had a great racket going in that place.
You picked it up like a cat, like from the back of it.
Man, you had to. Yeah, I made
like,
sure
like a baby lion.
Oh, it was so great. I made a killing that winter. I'll tell you that much. Fuck that $10 an hour. What the hell they were paying me? Oh man, it was.
You see everyone we're dealing with here.
Hey,
Noel has no morals.
Nope.
But at least the statute of limitations.
Right. And during Christmas time too. To hell with all of you. You know, it's a corrupt holiday anyway. You've all corrupted, and I saved you from yourselves.
How many children did you make cry
I
Christmas
resold
morning?
them.
Where?
I resold them.
Well, let's hear this racket. I'm curious how this worked. So did you like go on the street and sell on eBay, or like how did this work?
No, what
I really
did,
don't know.
For me and this other person that was in there was a girl that was in there, and she found people that needed them, and we would sell them that way.
Like
And so basically, I was the guy that...
I don't know.
She was my mule, and she would find people to do it because girls can sell easier, and it's okay. You know, so I had her selling them, and then we split the profits.
Like Turbo Man? He went to like the warehouse?
Hell yeah,
It was
man.
like the Spanish Turbo
Absolutely.
Man?
What? Yeah. I opened up my trench coat, and I'm like, yeah, here you go. Well, what you need? No, she knew people that liked Beanie Babies and crap, and
she had a Rolodex of Beanie
yeah, no,
people.
I didn't know who the hell did I know? I didn't know anybody that knew.
This sounds kind of similar to what we're doing right here. You make everybody else do the work.
Yes,
you get all the glory.
See,
there you go.
I was learning it at a young age.
You got
Matt.
it all
I was
figured
learning
out.
it at a young age, but yeah, what a great time, and it was fun to just see the broken faces.
God, you're soulless.
There were two payments: the broken faces and the cash.
All right, well, my number one, and this is undoubtedly should be on everybody's number one list, is Pogs. Pogs were everything when I was in elementary
what a waste
school.
of money.
Oh, yeah, big time. But it wasn't my money. It was Mom and Pop's, and I'm sure they were thrilled to do so. If you don't know what Pogs are, look them up. But basically, they're pieces of cardboard, and it's a game that you play against other people, and you stack up the Pogs, and you have slammers, which you hit these pieces of cardboard, and which ones flip over, you win. So basically, it's kind of like a form of gambling in a way, because Pogs were...
Oh, you're trying to make it sound cool now.
I'm not. If you really think about it, it was child's
so
gambling.
Dumb.
No, it wasn't. I'm telling you. I mean, they had all kinds of slammers. I used to have my one slammer that was just a total beast it was a flaming skull. It was like this metal one. A lot of people had the torpedoes, which I think were cheap. You just throw the thing and the whole thing would explode. That was weak. If you were a true Pog player, you could take your slammer, hit the stack, and it would all flip over at once. That's a perfect shot. Anyway, the true Pog people understand what I'm saying.
True Pog people, that was such a fad that it lasted for how long? 6 months?
It was a couple years.
Couple years?
I would say so. But yeah, if anybody remembers MJ Designs, that was pre-Michaels. That's basically what that store was.
Yeah.
Pogs were so popular that they literally took like 3 aisles, and you would walk into like this Pog
for a
universe
piece of cardboard.
Well,
a circular piece of cardboard with a dumb print on it. That's what we're talking about here.
We talked about Power Rangers. I remember McDonald's had Power Rangers Pogs. So you get your Happy Meal. The most important ones were the official Pogs, the ones with like the caveman or whatever on them.
Yeah.
And I remember I used to have a binder, like a binder like you would with cards, except they were Pog holders, and then they were all numbered. So I remember I had them like split. Like the best one I had was like number 3. I could never find 1 and 2. And those were expensive. You want to talk about Beanie Babies, please. This is on a whole nother level. You never played with those. Those are collector's items. It was just great. I love it.
So apparently it's not a fad to you. Apparently, you'd play right now.
I'd consider it.
So what'd you rank it number 1 for then? Apparently it shouldn't even be on your list. It's still alive in your heart and mind.
Yeah. Pogs. These things are great. A little stroll down memory lane.
It is.
To remember how stupid fads can be. But at the same time, you're going back to your youth when things were simpler. And you didn't have to pay bills, and you just went and bought Pogs or went to a wrestling show, or you didn't have to worry about shit.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
you buy this dumb stuff and then you throw it away in a year. You're like, Mom, I gotta have it. Or they gotta have it for their kid, like these stupid Beanie Babies. And then in a year's time, the kid doesn't even know where the hell it is. Mm-hmm. And that's what a fad is. And hopefully, bringing it back to the Heinicke thing, hopefully we're not clamoring for him, and then we're not throwing him away in a year. Kind of like we did with Haskins. That is a fad of fads.
Well, RG3 is a fad.
Oh, yeah, another fad.
We got a couple fads.
Yeah, we've got a few fads that we could have related to this list. But yeah, nostalgia's great.
It's the best.
This was fun.
And then you go back to your normal life and realize how miserable it really is.
Yeah, and then you wish you just had Pogs at your desk at work.
Man. No, I wouldn't even be at work. I would be sitting at recess playing Pogs with my friends.
Yeah, good times. With your bleach blonde hair. Tips.
Look, you're getting all the timelines confused here. Pogs were elementary school. Tips were high school.
You
all right?
understood what I was saying.
I grew.
You wish you had them all at the same time.
Oh, yeah. It would be too much to handle for me.
Yeah.
Be sensory overload. All right, well, we'll go back to full sports on Tuesday, and that's going to do it for this episode. We're on all major podcast platforms. Please rate, review, and subscribe. If you like this show, please share it on social media. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, the Facebook group, and our website, BeltwaySportsBros.com. Hey, there's playoff games this weekend. If you can, sit down and enjoy them. What is there, 4 games? So sit on your ass and watch some football and not see the Washington football team.
I actually am okay with watching them because I felt good about the Washington game, so I'm going to sit down and enjoy these games, man.
Yeah, I'm not going to be physically ill knowing other teams are still playing.
I wish my team. So I'm good. It's going to be a fun weekend.
You guys enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you Tuesday. See you later.